two things happen to a newly hired guy, even though he is good. You teach him, you show him sales. Next week he's doing great. Next week, if you don't go with him, he's going to do a little less. And then he's going to do a little less for two things. Either he's losing interest, or he's getting more involved in the federation. Now that's the second danger, because then he wants to tell everybody, he's so enthusiastic that he wants to tell everybody everything about NFIB.
What's the matter with that?
The matter with that is that a human mind will only comprehend little. You're gonna sell if you go bang, 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 and you're not gonna sell, with a few exceptions, if you spend an hour with the guy. I say, well, you know, I don't know, because he's confused. He's not gonna buy because he's confused.
How long would you typically want to spend with someone?
Well, if I can spend 1 minute and get the money, but I wouldn't want to spend 15 minutes, that's too long. Let me tell you about, I had a lady by the name of Joanne Conrad working, and she was a wonderful sales lady. And she called on a guy for renewal. And she was talking about one particular bill, and the guy was so enthusiastic he would have probably given $100 right there and then. Then she started talking about another bill, and I said, "Oh, now, what the hell are you doing?" Then another bill, and another bill, and by the time we walk out of there, would you believe she had no sale? But John had one thing that he was absolutely disagreeing with me. His thinking was that he had to tell every member everything that has happened the previous year. I said, John, you can do that. Talk about 2 things, 3 things at the most, but don't go over everything. One day he's calling on a farmer, 20 degrees below zero, probably, unbelievably cold. I sit in the car. He's up in the barn. Half an hour. Then he goes back and his wife, the farmer's wife gives him a check. And from then on I say, John, you know what, I'm going to show you, anytime I work with you, that we can sell this without showing anything about accomplishments. I have never, ever shown an accomplishment in front of John. We just have to simply keep after those politicians. You have to believe in the idea. If somebody talks to you about working for an NFIB and there's good money in it, don't just look at the money and think, oh, well, I don't know what they're going to do. But if you feel that something better be done in Washington or our state capital, and maybe I can help doing it, and still make money, then be interested and start. And once you start, the important thing is to learn to talk. The reason that it's important to know the sales talk is because it keeps you in a straight line. You don't start being too wordy. And also, let's face it, some days all of us are more eloquent than other days. You may have a headache or something, so it's easier to present it if you know it. So after a while you develop a certain tone of presentation that you find out sells. I think I never thought about it until one time, many years ago, I brought my brother from Czechoslovakia for a visit. He didn't speak any English. And however, I took him with me on some of the calls, and he used to tell me, the minute you give a presentation, the pitch of your voice and your talking seems to be different than when you just talk about printing because I had it memorized so that I knew that that was going to sell. So.
And you memorized it verbatim?
Verbatim. Now.
Do you have any different advice for veterans or recommendations for veterans that have been around a few years, just in general, to help them continue to be successful?
Continue believing in the idea, continue enjoying it. I don't know, I have always looked at being out in field as fun. It's just like a cat and mouse game. And you know, I personally found it difficult to sell merchandise. It's a thrill of selling nothing tangible. You know, like one time I quit NFIB. I had a little bit of a personal argument, and I quit NFIB. I was sorry from the very moment that I did it, but my pride was too much to go back. And I went to work for Hearthstone Insurance. So they showed me how to do it, and I was selling auto insurance policies. What I did is I parked myself into a big truck stop, and these truckers were coming in and coming in and coming in. I was selling and selling everybody. And then somewhere along the way, they handed me a gold watch and said, "Congratulations." I said, "For what?" I said, "Well, you won a national contest. I sold the most policies." That wasn't intentional. Say it is TGIF, Thanksgiving is Friday. To me, it's always been TGIM, thanks goodness it's Monday. I just like to go out, and let's face it, I like the freedom of it. I don't have a boss standing on my shoulder, over my shoulder. The idea, and the people you talk to, you know, today I'm 84 years old. I wouldn't have to go out at all, but I still do make calls because, and I sometimes tell it to the members, I say, you know what, it's because of you that I just can't retire. You know, after I have that check, of course.
So you
I don't know. I never looked for anything else. I think this idea that people in today's day and age have to change jobs all the time is stupid. I don't know who created it, but I think basically the sad thing about the world, and I think this goes probably all over, I bet you that most people in the world are holding jobs, are doing work that they hate, and they do it just to make a living. And I feel that I've been very fortunate, given the ability of doing it, and enjoying what I was doing. So I think that's the greatest thing, is to enjoy what you're doing. I've enjoyed it. And I call the university, I say, I want to do my last examination. I had one examination to go to get a full-fledged doctor's degree. And they say, "Oh no, we'll give you an honorary degree. You can come over, we'll give you an honorary." I say, "I don't want an honorary degree. I want a full-fledged doctor's degree." So they asked me what. So they agreed that they, you know, what thesis you want to do and so on. And so I went back to Prague, and I took my last examination. I got my doctor's degree. I don't use it. But,
well, what's the story of using it on your business card in context of calling on medical doctors, and what you do with that business card?
Oh my God, let me tell you something. Do I have an opening on doctor?
Yeah, tell me about it.
Miss, I walk in and say, "Miss, would you please tell Dr. Jones that there's a Dr. Marsak to see him?"
It works every time?
Works every time. Tell Dr.